Hello family! Our movie starts with Annie, a 30-year-old blogger, asking her readers in her most recent post if they remember the first time their man saw them naked. Then she thinks back on her previous years with her boyfriend, Jay. She recalls them continually making love, no matter where they were or who was witnessing them. She later became pregnant, and she married Jay. They promised each other their sex life would continue even after they had children. However, they end up having 2 children, and when they try to make love, everything changes. Their children are always getting in the way. Seeing each other naked is no longer exciting. They no longer want to think about sex. So, is it any surprise that she may stir things up with Jay? Later that morning, Jay and Annie must deal with their rogue son and daughter. Jay suggests to Annie that they have sex soon, but Annie says they don't have time for it because of the kids, and they are always fatigued. Even their children could sense that their parents were bored at home, and Annie is in a meeting with Piper Brothers, a corporation that wants to buy Annie's blog despite applauding her work. They are concerned about several of her blog articles, particularly her most recent one. Nonetheless, they are delighted to have her on board. Meanwhile, Jay goes to work at a radio station after dropping the kids off at school. Jay's friend Max tells him about how his girlfriend unexpectedly emailed him a picture of her naked body. Jay's helper arrives with 2 iPads as he utilizes various tablets for different activities. Annie decides to surprise Jay by sending the kids to her mother's house to celebrate her achievement. When Jay returns home, he has a sexy surprise waiting for him. Jay becomes very excited, and when they try to get into it, they are both clumsy and unable to get into the mood. They attempt to restart, but things do not go well. They attempted it in the kitchen. They then proceed to the couch, but they are unable to experience any pleasure. Jay and Annie realize they've completely forgotten how to do it. They then decide to crack open a bottle of tequila and shake things up. When she covers one of Jay's iPads, she gets the bright idea to film themselves doing it. Jay thinks it's a fantastic concept. Following that, the 2 of them set up the iPad and practice positions from the book. The Pleasure of Sex. The tape is finished after 3 hours, and Annie instructs Jay to delete the film as they fall asleep. The next day, the couple organizes a graduation party at their house for their son, Clive. Jay is outside cleaning up after the party when he receives a text message from an unlisted number that says, "Enjoyed your video. Thank you for your contribution." Jay informs the person that he has the incorrect phone number. However, the person claims to have recently watched Jay's sex tape. He panics and rushes to his iPad devices, only to discover that the recording has been sent to everyone, including the iPads he handed to his friends. Annie overhears the recording being played, and Jay is forced to admit to her that he did not delete the video. They realize how many people they handed iPads to, including the Piper Brothers guy, their friend Robbie and his mother, the mailman, and Clive. They rush into Clive's room, snatching the boy's iPad from his grasp and tossing it out the window. Then she contacts her mother and asks her to come to spend time with the kids and bring her iPad when she arrives. Jay removes the iPad from his hands and deletes the footage. Then he and Annie dash out the door to prevent anyone from watching the tape. The couple drives over to the home of their friends Ravi and Tessa. As any reasonable person would imagine, the text is something Tessa would send as a joke when they arrive at their friend's place. They notice Ravi and Tessa are celebrating their 12th wedding anniversary. Jay requests the iPad he gave them, and Ravi teases them about making a sex tape. Jay inadvertently says, "You guys watch it." As a result, Jay and Annie are compelled to explain all that occurred to Ravi and Tessa. They offer to assist the pair in locating the next iPad. When they get to Hank's luxurious home, the 4 of them go to the Piper Brothers guy's residence. Annie and Jay dress up as charity fundraisers, while Hank leaves to collect his checkbook. He invites them in. Jay makes an excuse to go to the restroom by claiming to have a food illness as he walks past the rooms. Jay is attacked by Hank's dog. He knocks the dog down with a book and locks it in a room. However, the dog returns and follows Jay throughout the house. Meanwhile, Hank and Annie are talking, and Hank encourages Annie to do drugs with him. She hesitantly agrees to it so Hank doesn't catch Jay prowling around his house. When Jay turns on the treadmill, the dog is hurled against a wall. Jay is still being chased by the dog. Just then, Ravi and Tessa ring the doorstep, pretending to be a mayor and his wife from another town collecting discarded iPads for charity. Just as Jay goes out the window with the dog, Hank hands them the one Annie gave him. They dash to the front door, and the puppy is handed to them. After that, Annie and Jay walk back to the car, fighting about the mess Jay had to make. Jay then confesses that he didn't erase the tape since it was one of the best times of his life. Annie explains that she has been frustrated by everything that has prevented them from getting intimate. They make up and return to the car, where Ravi and Tessa are getting it on in the backseat. They claim to have watched Annie and Jay's video, and that the whole thing was a huge turn-on for them. The friends return to Ravi and Tessa's place by car. Howard, their unpleasant son, comes downstairs and asks Jay if he received his text message. Jay quickly realizes that Howard was the one who watched the tape initially and texted him. Howard blackmails Jay, demanding $25,000 to remove the video, which he has already posted on an adult website. When Jay arrives home, he contacts Ravi to inform him of Howard's wicked plan. Jay then tells Annie what Howard told him. Instead of succumbing to his demands, she chooses to take matters into her own hands. She obtains the address of the website's offices and plans to break in and remove the video. Then he won't be able to contact his mother again, so they drive to the building, taking Clive and Nell with them. Jay drives the car through the gate to gain entry. They eventually reach the control room, where Jay thumps one of the servers with a bat. But this sets off an alarm. Before they could leave, the website manager arrives with his wife and 2 bodyguards and 2 attack dogs. He incorrectly believes Annie and Jay are from competing websites. When Jay stands up and tells him that he had to do it to protect his family, the manager deduces that they produced a sex tape and are attempting to record it. The manager's wife remembers Annie and Jay's names when they introduce themselves, since she is a fan of Annie's blog. After much deliberation, the manager agrees to remove the video, but Annie and Jay must still pay for the damages. The couple rushes back home, as it is now dawn, to get the kids ready for college graduation. They arrive at school and take their places in the auditorium. Annie and Jay tell each other that they love each other and how happy they are that they are still together. When the event begins, Clive stands to deliver a video he created on the computer. Jay begins to panic, believing he has forgotten to delete the tape from his computer. Clive is debating which file to play. Jay attempts to stop him but falls off the balcony. However, Clive's graduation video is currently playing. Ravi and Tessa assist Jay in getting to the hospital. Jay is now wearing a cast on his leg and a sling around his arm, so the family is enjoying time together at home. Clive receives a phone call from Howard inviting him to ice cream. Because it's family night, Annie and Jay decline. Soon after, Howard pays them a visit, and Jay believes he is no longer terrified because they have removed the tape. However, Howard pulls out a data disc. It contains the final copy of the tape. He assures Jay that he has erased all other copies and that he just wants to spend out with Clive because he is his only friend. Jay nods and takes the drive from him. Jay and Annie are about to smash the drive with a hammer. However, Annie suggests that they watch it only once before destroying it. They begin to watch the video and are shocked to find themselves in awkward circumstances. Finally, the 2 of them destroy the drive and permanently bury the evidence. This is how our movie ends. Leave us a comment on how you found this movie recap. See you in the next movie recap. We hope that you enjoy your time and have a good day.